Let's create a really simple box model with the help of CSS. So I'm inside my document. I'm going to create a div. I'm say dot box. That's going to create the class over there, and inside that let me add some dummy text. So if I add this, let me copy the path. Let's get back to the browser. Let's refresh. Okay, so we have the document here. Now we need to make this look really nice. So let's get back to our code. And now what we need to do is we need to get back to our CSS. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to target the box. So I'm using a class over there. You can see that I'm using a class, and inside this, the first thing is I'm going to specify width. I'm going to set the width to around 500 pixels. I'm going to set the height as auto. So if I do this much, you can see that it automatically adds me some width. Now what we can do is we can start adding some more styles for this. Let's add the box model. I'm going to set the margin as 25 pixels, and I'm going to say that the padding is going to be 15 pixels. Let's give a background color. I'm going to give a background color which looks kind of nice. So let me look for a really good background color here. Okay, I'm going to use the teal color as my background, and if I save this, get back to my browser, let's hit refresh, you can see that it has created some style. So what we'll do is we will create some font family here. I'm going to call that as sans serif, and I will say font size is going to be small. We save that. Let's see how that looks like. Okay, that looks good. I need to change the font color. I'm going to change the font color to white. So if I save this and get back to my browser and hit refresh, okay, that's white. But you can see that the line height is very close to each other. I need to give some line height. So I'm going to say line height. I'll give this as around 1 em. Let's see what makes that. Let's hit refresh. Okay, that kind of compressed it. So we need to increase more line height. So if I set it to 2, I think 2 is too much. So I'm going to set this to 1.5 or 8. I think 1.8 is good. So let me get back to my code. I'm going to set this to 1.8. Save that. Let's get back to our browser. Let's hit refresh. Okay, it's here. Now we need to add some border for that. I'm going to add a border. I'm going to set that to around 3 pixels. It's going to be solid, and we want the color to be in orange color. So if I save this, get back to my browser and refresh, you can see that we have some really nice border here. But the border is kind of very sharp, so we need to make it more a bit of a rounded corner. So let's get back to our code. I'm going to say the border radius should be around 5 pixels. So if I save this and get back to my code and hit refresh, you can see that kind of create a small curve over there. We can also give shadow for this specific box with the help of CSS. So what we can do is here we can specify that the box shadow is basically like x-axis, y-axis, and all those things. So I'm gonna set this to 2 pixel x-axis, 2 pixel y-axis, and here now we want to set the blur radius. I'm going to set this to around 12 pixel, and the color of the blur right now I'll set it to black just for the demo, and I'll get back here and let's hit refresh. Okay, you see now we have that box shadow over there. So let's move that a little bit down. So to do that, you can see this is the x-axis. So if I increase this, see what happens, it's moving to the other side. So I'm going to set this to around 12, and I think I'll set this one also to 12. Okay, this is great. And I'm going to set the blur radius to around 24. Actually around 20 is fine, I guess. Now black is really too thick, so I'm going to decrease the opacity. Just click on this color here and you can see this line, so you can just click on this. That will change to RGBA value. We need this, so I'm going to decrease the opacity here, that which makes kind of look good. So I'm going to select this much is good. And now let's select our entire box shadow. I'm going to copy that. Let's get back to our code, and instead of this we're going to paste our code. Okay, we have an extra one here, so let's remove that. Save this. Let's get back to our browser. Let's hit refresh. See, we have a really beautiful box model.